Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus Channel. The United States has developed what's known as the Army Prepositioned Stock, or APS program, a cornerstone of the U.S. military's global readiness strategy. This program allows the U.S. Army to strategically pre-position complete sets of equipment, such as tanks, artillery, and wheeled vehicles belonging to an armored brigade combat team, in climate-controlled facilities across the world. The goal is simple yet powerful. When soldiers deploy, they can fly to a location and fall in directly on the equipment already staged and ready. This dramatically reduces deployment timelines and enables rapid response to emerging threats. There are 5 APS stock locations, each covering a strategic region. APS-1, located within the continental United States. APS-2, based in Europe to support NATO and U.S. Army Europe-Africa missions. APS-3, stored aboard maritime prepositioning ships that can be dispatched globally. APS-4, located in Northeast Asia, positioned to support the Indo-Pacific region. APS-5, established in Southwest Asia for Middle East operations. These 5 stocks are vital components of the American defense posture. They ensure that combatant commanders can access a full suite of command-ready equipment, not only in wartime, but also during large-scale exercises, security cooperation events, and humanitarian missions, such as disaster relief operations. To illustrate how this system functions in practice, let's take a look at the 2020 military exercise Defender Europe 20. This major force projection drill involved moving heavy armored vehicles, such as the M1 Abrams battle tank, from bases in the United States to staging points across Europe. The success of this operation depended on the precise orchestration of logistics, sealift, and ground movement coordination. A critical asset in this endeavor was the USNS Benavidez, a U.S. Navy cargo ship operated by the Military Sealift Command. This roll-on, roll-off vessel was tasked with transporting the tanks and support vehicles across the Atlantic Ocean to Germany. The process began at a port in the U.S., where Army personnel, stevedores, logistics clerks, and civilian contractors worked together to load dozens of tracked and wheeled vehicles onto the ship's deck and internal storage areas. Vehicles were driven up ramps, secured with heavy chains, and documented in logistics systems to ensure traceability throughout the journey. These maritime transports are equipped with specialized ramps, heavy-duty anchors, and protective features to secure equipment during rough sea conditions. Once fully loaded and cleared for departure, the ship set sail toward its destination. Upon completing its transatlantic voyage, the ship approached the port of Bremerhaven, Germany, where it was met by local harbor pilots and tugboats to safely guide it into position. Once moored at the pier, the crew began preparations for offloading the vehicles. The ship's ramp was lowered, and U.S. Army personnel, along with German civilian port workers, coordinated the careful unloading of military hardware. Each M1 Abrams tank was carefully driven off the ship under strict supervision. German port authorities verified each vehicle against shipping manifests. These procedures ensured accountability, security, and compliance with international transportation agreements. Following the Abrams, other vehicles, such as M2 Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, M113 armored personnel carriers, or APCs, and Humvees were unloaded and inspected. Once offloaded, the equipment was staged for overland transport to various training areas across Europe. The U.S. Army uses heavy-duty tank transporters to move tracked vehicles like the Abrams across highways and rugged terrain. One notable movement took place on February 28, 2022, when soldiers from the Sustainment Brigade moved Abrams tanks from the Coleman worksite in Mannheim to the Grafenwohr training area. These transports require meticulous loading procedures. Each tank was driven onto a multi-axle trailer and aligned precisely. Using turnbuckles, chains, anchors, and spanners, crews secured the tanks to the trailer bed. Soldiers ensured that all slack was removed from the chains to prevent movement during transport, a critical safety step when traveling at speed over long distances. Specialized training is required to perform these tasks, and soldiers undergo regular refresher courses to stay proficient. As part of Defender Europe 20, the first U.S. military convoy crossed from Germany into Poland at the Kołbaskowo border crossing. This convoy, made up of Humvees, HEMTTs, and FMTVs, rolled across the border under the cover of night to minimize impact on local traffic and avoid attracting attention. Crossing international borders with military hardware requires diplomatic coordination and highlights the interoperability between NATO forces. These convoy movements are not just about transport. They are live drills simulating what a real-world rapid deployment might look like. Troops must follow movement orders, maintain convoy integrity, and remain in constant communication while coordinating with local law enforcement and military units. Behind the scenes, significant planning goes into APS draw operations. While having pre-positioned stocks close to the action saves time and money, these systems must be meticulously maintained and inspected well in advance. Units must initiate APS draw requests early in their deployment cycle to ensure all paperwork, readiness checks, and transport needs are fulfilled in a timely manner. Once the draw begins, each unit conducts a component-level inventory, ensuring all parts, accessories, and tools are present. Soldiers then perform preventative maintenance checks and services, or PMCS, on every vehicle and system to ensure operational functionality. The APS program ensures that this equipment is not only stored, but is ready to fight with minimal prep time. Prior to live fire exercises, crews top off fuel tanks, test communication systems, load ammunition, and perform final inspections. This ensures tanks and support vehicles are fully mission capable when the exercise begins. redundancy is key. Every system is double-checked to prevent failure during critical scenarios. After the conclusion of Defender Europe Phase 2, a reverse logistics process kicked off. All military equipment had to be thoroughly cleaned to remove mud, fuel, and debris before being returned to APS custody. These cleaning operations are conducted under strict protocols to meet host nation environmental standards and preserve equipment lifespan. Once cleaned and recertified, the vehicles are logged back into inventory, and units prepare for redeployment to the U.S. Beyond continental operations, the U.S. military also maintains highly unique prepositioning capabilities, such as the Marine Corps Prepositioning Program Norway, or MCPP-N. This program originated in 1981, when the U.S. and Norway signed a bilateral agreement during the Cold War. To protect the equipment from Soviet targeting, U.S. planners decided to build a series of underground caves in central Norway to store tanks, artillery, trucks, and gear for a full Marine Expeditionary Brigade. Completed by 1988, the MCPP-N cave system remains one of the most secure and advanced prepositioning sites in the world. Despite the Cold War ending shortly thereafter, the caves were never deactivated. Instead, they've become a critical logistics hub for the Marine Rotational Force Europe, or MRFE, a continuous presence of U.S. Marines in Northern Europe. Every year, these Marines arrive at Evenes Airfield in northern Norway to participate in Exercise Cold Response, a large-scale cold weather training operation. After processing, they move to Elvegardsmoen camp, located near Bardufoss, to acclimate and begin tactical training in Arctic conditions. This region features challenging terrain, snow-covered mountains, and sub-zero temperatures. Marines undergo cold weather survival, small unit tactics, and live fire drills, while using equipment drawn from the MCPP-N caves. The advantage of drawing local gear rather than flying it from the U.S. is immense, particularly when speed is essential. The MCPP-N program is also a critical enabler of NATO exercises like Trident Juncture, where rapid extraction, inspection, and deployment of gear from the caves is tested under real-world scenarios. Logistics planners begin by determining the exercise requirements and identifying what gear needs to be pulled. The extraction process is highly coordinated, ensuring minimal time between order and operational use. Once extracted, the gear is inspected, repaired if needed, and delivered to training sites by convoy or airlift. This system gives the Marine Corps and NATO partners a combat-ready logistics framework that is resilient and highly adaptable. The U.S. military's prepositioned stock programs, APS and MCPP-N, are powerful force multipliers that support global contingency operations, bolster NATO interoperability, and enable rapid response in nearly any theater of operations. whether it's heavy armor shipped aboard sealift vessels or marine gear stored in fortified caves. This infrastructure allows the U.S. to maintain flexibility, speed, and an overwhelming logistical advantage. These capabilities are the result of decades of investment in infrastructure, partnerships, and planning. As global challenges evolve, the ability to move fast and be ready remains the defining trait of American military power. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.